Well, that was short and unexpected, and I'm not sure what happened.
Welcome to the abbreviated version.
And scene.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, guys. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. Even
the
with a short
podcast.
Is it time for the after show yet?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're dodging turkeys dropped by a local radio station, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Oh, and of course, that means it's time to bring in our charged chimp. Some say he has no qualms about sweaty palms. And others say he thinks the ICU is for peekaboo accidents. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Oh, the humanity.
Yes, the huge manatee.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to all of our U.S. listeners.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, and my U.S. co-hosts, of course. You guys and everybody else who's out there in I was going to say Radioland, but I guess I'm still thinking about the WKRP episodes. There you go.
And traffic today is all backed up out on the interstate, and we're just never mind.
That's right. And I have defined the walls of my studio here with masking tape on the floor.
Well done. Yes.
Easy doors.
God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
Indeed. Well, for those who are getting all of our little references there, like Carlos is in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Carlos. I hope you enjoy that. And, we're going to talk about some fun ways to keep your geocaching adventures going. We're going to talk about ideas for powering your phone, your GPS, and any other devices you might take with you when you go geocaching or hiking or snowshoeing or whatever you're going to do. Get out there, have some fun, and we'll give you some pro tips of, and possibly, because tomorrow's Black Friday.
Yes, it is.
Then possibly you'll pick up some tips on things to buy. Watch them on sale.
I'm not sure if Black Friday this year is as important as it has been in years past.
It's all about the Cyber Monday.
They're pushing it all to, at least the retailers around here are doing multiple Black Friday type days.
Hey, is it okay to riot for toys and physically abuse your neighbor as long as you're wearing a mask?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say yes. I don't know. I do know a friend of mine whose theory was that it was against the rules to have a family gathering of more than 4 or 5 people, but you could have 20 at a funeral. So his mother was going to have a funeral for their dearly departed turkey.
Right. Yes.
I want to say a Colorado senator did the same thing.
I just know that
there you go.
U.S. Thanksgiving 2020, it's just a time to sit around over Zoom and look your loved ones in the eye and say, I love you. I miss you. You're muted. No, you're muted. No, click the mic. No, I can't do it for you. Click. No, you're mute. I can't hear you. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and so a reminder for everyone to make sure that you know where your mute button is. And another reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And of course, thanks to Land Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. And speaking of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, well, Land Sharks Black Friday sale is on now through Monday. So there you go. If you're looking to buy some Christmas stuff, now's the time. Discounts from 10 to 50%, and even the super new Canadian Cacher products are included. Landsharks also has the Shop Geocaching 2020 trackable ornaments and Signal Holiday Geocoins because, well, they made them. So there you go. If you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Just real quick, I see that Gia sometimes too can relate. I had that Zoom family gathering today. Best quote from Aunt Beth: Dennis, stop clicking.
Classic.
So I'm glad somebody could relate to my description there. Yeah.
Oh, Subway Mark did 3 Zoom calls today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did 2 just because my sister couldn't figure out the first one, so I had to call her separately.
Yeah.
I did 4, but that's because I was working today. So nothing to do with family.
Oh, well. Your work family.
Sure. Yeah. Let's call them that.
Okay. That makes them feel
Just
better.
as dysfunctional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, just in case you needed to know, my next oldest brother. There were 5 of us. So
5 of you. Yikes.
yeah. I'm the youngest. My sister's next. Then you've got the middle brother. The second oldest brother has passed, and then the oldest. Yeah, that middle brother. Yeah, he was going to be on a turkey trot at the time of the call, which I thought you were supposed to have after the meals. You get the turkey trot.
Depends how well the turkey was cooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as they started, his son-in-law started to pass a kidney stone.
Oh no.
So he spent Thanksgiving in the ER.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So
Even if it wasn't on the agenda.
thoughts and prayers.
Yes, indeed. Thoughts and prayers. All right. Well, do you want to use that as a segue to a glow?
Yeah, let's do that. There are things you should be thankful for. And personally, I am thankful for all of you.
Oh,
Thank you. Well, you two, but everybody else as a whole as
I was
well.
gonna say I'm back at you. I'm thankful for you guys, and of course our listeners, patrons, and the chat participants are always so fun.
Exactly. So thank you guys so much. I don't know how to segue. I tried to come up with something and it wasn't going to work. So
I hear these things
from kidney stones to
yeah. I hear people talking about a glow. What's a glow?
Well, a glow is a geocaching log of the week. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
There, wit's end. Whether you wrote it or whether you read it, we want to hear about it. Do you know why?
Why? Tell me.
Because great logs simply make geocaching better.
Ah.
Send an email or a field recording to feedback@cachingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC. Right there, leave us a voicemail and show us how you glow. I think I got it right.
Yeah, I think it was good enough anyway.
The short intro really threw off the rhythm of the show for me.
That's as good an excuse as any. I don't know that it had anything to do with it, but claim it. Go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Tonight's glow was submitted by Reagan.
Reagan.
It was
There's
for
2 R's there.
Well, it doesn't say that in the little note here.
Somebody didn't type it right.
Okay, now it says R. Reagan. So, or Reagan.
Ooh, so well done.
It's a cache from Susan Angel, who found cache across America, New Hampshire. The log is GL12 Kilo Echo Echo Juliet 6. And the log reads, "Greetings from Haines City, Florida. I'm on a Labor Day weekend mini vacation with my muggle bud, Cindy, and certainly an eventful one. We flew into Newark, New Jersey, and headed to New Hampshire, and then on our way to Boston to fly home. Cindy is hoping to see a moose. I just wanted to find this cache. By the way, do not let moose lick your car. I learned that this week."
Huh.
Yeah. So she continues, "Cindy once flew into Montana to see a bighorn sheep and didn't see one. The moose isn't looking too promising around here either. When we arrived in Newark, we didn't have a rental car reservation. We quickly discovered that there were almost no cars to rent. Every rental car in the entire state of New Jersey was gone because of Labor Day. The only 2 cars left on the rental property were part of a luxury line at an ungodly rate. We tried just about everything we could think of, from renting a U-Haul to flying back home to hitchhiking. But we ended up taking the most expensive car rental in the history of car rentals and the Outer Banks of the cosmos because my friend felt the need to see a moose." I think she's a little bitter.
I'm hoping they saw a moose.
I don't know. "For the price of this rental car, we should have been driving a convertible red Lamborghini, but instead, we're driving a Volvo station wagon that looked eerily similar to my mom's kid hauler in the 1980s. I will be making payments on this Volvo for the next 5 months, and we didn't see anything that resembled a moose. At this price, I'd be happy to run one over. Heck, with the price we paid, we could have bought a moose and rode the thing back to Central Florida." After a few hours, I eventually got over the sticker shock, and we made our way to Guilford, New Hampshire, to the quaint beautiful hotel she picked out. Well, quaint isn't exactly what I'd call this hotel. It was more like a rundown, dilapidated dump. I won't tell you how much we had to pay for it, but the price was nearly as bad as the car in Jersey. Not quite. My bud, the LF, said it was a ski lodge. A ski lodge? Listen, I'm a third generation native Floridian and have seen snow 3 times in 48 years and have never seen skis up close. So if this is a ski lodge, I'm not impressed. For this much money, I can stay at Gaylord Palms Resort in Orlando in complete luxury, and I'll bet you I won't find cobwebs as old as Methuselah like the one that's above my head right now. On a positive note, I did capture a spider and set him free outside. I'm quite confident that he's much happier even as we speak. I was just surprised that this place had running water and a flushing commode. We were finally on our way to Boston to fly back home. Well, I guess I was a little too excited about going home and was driving too fast in my hot rod Volvo station wagon. So I had the pleasure of meeting New Hampshire's finest county mountie.
Oh, dear.
Yep, I received a little big souvenir from the state of New Hampshire. And next time, I won't go to Vegas to lose money. I'll come to New England. Thanks for this cash. This is my 30-second cash across America.
Quite the story.
Well, it was memorable. I can give her that.
Yeah, no kidding. Too bad they didn't see a moose, though. But you got to get your timing right to see a moose, that's for sure.
Yeah. Moose
They
season.
could have bought one.
Rabbit
I
season.
thought that was a hilarious
That was it.
That
plug.
was good.
Yes, that was very well written. Fun.
Dormore said, my brother-in-law from England believed moose were fictional creatures made up by Canadians. I promised him a sighting when he came to visit. We saw one just outside of Merritt. He was stunned.
They
Yeah,
are
that's pretty
large
cool.
animals.
Yes,
you know,
they
it's
are.
one thing you think, yeah, they're big animals, and then you see them in person, you go, these things are huge.
And
Yeah.
the log talked about running one over. You don't run one over. You knock the legs out and the body comes through the windshield and kills you.
Yeah, pretty much. Depending on the speed at which you're going.
Yeah. They will total your vehicle.
Absolutely.
Well, apparently moose are, Keith says moose are avoiding him.
Oh, in Nova
He
Scotia.
realizes- Nova
There's
Scotia.
worse things.
Yeah.
And then moose.
Yeah, I had a friend that nearly totaled his car with an elk, and I said, "Oh, what?" He said, "Yeah, the elk hit me." I said, "You mean you hit the elk?" No, the elk hit me. There was a car. It was a 2-lane rural highway, and a car was coming the other way, struck the elk, launched the elk into the air, and then hit the lawn. So he hit an airborne elk coming at him.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
The car.
Lucky to be around.
No kidding. Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But you know,
that sounds like a lot of power.
Yeah, at least they aren't licking the car.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Do we need to know why moose shouldn't lick a car?
Yes.
It's the
if you
road
follow
salt.
Twitter feeds
Yeah.
from the Canadian national parks.
Yeah,
So
they've learned that wintertime cars are salty.
Okay.
Giant salt licks.
Yeah.
Moving. Bring me one. I'll just wait here.
But usually they don't lick them while they're moving.
Oh, okay. They just put their tongue out,
Until the tongue gets stuck to
Wipe-
it. And then
wipes down the side of cars as they go by. You get a bunch of them, you get a free car wash.
also true.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, sorry folks, I got distracted. Hey, if you want to get into tonight's conversation, use the hashtag power to add something to tonight's show. And of course, please, we ask you to use the hashtag FATAS to add something to the after show. I don't
Well
do
done.
it as well as Wits End.
I don't either.
Okay.
I no longer have that FX mixer, so
It'll
it'll have to
we
just
got it recorded.
I'll just have to live on in infamy in the recording. Oh wait,
Okay.
did I just reveal a secret that wasn't live every week?
No, we're all
It's
good.
Memorex. Hey, folks, we do have a little bit of news. This comes straight from HQ. On the hot wire,
Straight out of HQ.
they say, we did it, we made it. This year brought unprecedented change. There's that word. It's an unprecedented year.
Hmm.
But we still came together as a community despite challenges. We adapted to figuring out Zoom to see our friends for the most part.
Yeah.
You're
muted.
nobody has figured out the mute on Zoom, how to
No.
mute and unmute, but the rest of it seems to work. Geocaching solo, not Han, and planning future outings. Even through it all, caches were found, souvenirs were earned, travel bugs achieved their mileage goals. Now, we are looking at goodbye to 2020, which I think we're all willing to say goodbye 2020 and welcome 2021. And this year's theme for these souvenirs is traditional Japanese art that uses liquid precious metal to meld the pieces of broken pottery. This art form honors what the pottery has been through and is a perfect metaphor for our souvenir to close out the year.
That's cool. I hadn't read that yet.
I had not read that either, but I have heard of that pottery repair. It is very fascinating.
Yeah, Kintsugi.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Kintsugi, yeah, it is. Yeah, read up on that if you have some time.
I mean, they take pottery, they break it, and then they use typically gold to put it back together and to show you the cracks. And it's gorgeous. It really is. Because we're all kind of a cracked pot.
Indeed.
And what we've been through makes us stronger.
There you go.
Like 2020. Yeah. So we invite you to leave 2020 stronger and to welcome 2021 with hope by introducing 2 new geocaching souvenirs. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
How do you earn both souvenirs?
No idea.
Well, years past, it was fine to cache on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Oh, well, that's easy. You can earn the last 2020 souvenir by finding any geocache from December 24th to December 31st.
Oh, eve to eve.
Oh yeah, that's it. And then the first 2021 souvenir by finding another geocache from January 1st to January 8th.
Oh,
so that's, day to day.
Yeah.
So full week for both. Nice.
New Year's day to birthday. Yeah.
Exactly.
Elvis Presley's birthday.
I was going to say, whose birthday is that?
David Bowie. Professor Stephen Hawking.
And somebody on this podcast.
And somebody else, yeah.
And some other guy.
Some other guy that hasn't died yet.
Good news. That makes me happy.
I mean, there's still time.
Well, yeah. All right.
Before the birthday happens, there's still time.
That's right.
But, let's focus on the positive.
Let's focus on
from Christmas Eve to my birthday.
There you go. And from New Year's Day to my birthday. See, we're just bringing this home together.
Peas in a pod.
Yeah.
There you go.
Keats in a pod.
All right.
So in case you need to know, you can find any of these. You could find a traditional, a multi, a virtual, letterbox, an event. Yeah, right. Mystery, webcam, Earth Cache, Where I Go, or an adventure lab.
Oh, so adventure labs count too.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. You can call me Al. Oh, wait, that's different. Hey, Al. Hey,
You can call me AL.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that should be fun. I can, given a 14-day span, I might be able to find 2 geocaches. So
yeah, exactly. Or an adventure lab. You probably have one near where you work and you haven't even looked yet.
That's very likely because work's been pretty busy and I haven't had time to look. So maybe I'll just put them off until the end of December. And
that's right. I mean, at least until, start looking maybe the 23rd.
You've got a week, so leave it to the last day.
Yeah.
And then it's just like it always has been.
Yeah.
That's right. Keep the tradition going.
Yeah, you could have been my school classmate.
Your lab partner for this big project? Yeah. We'll just wait the day before.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Hey, folks.
What?
This has been an interesting podcast.
Are we done?
Probably. The music was so short. Why not just finish the podcast now?
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later. No.
Let's just move on right to the after show. We'll skip about the battery talk and come back later.
We could. We could.
We could.
Or we can talk about batteries.
Okay.
Because, everybody needs power to continue, right?
Indeed.
Power. We all carry, well, I'm assuming, but it's a pretty safe assumption that all of us carry power with us every single day. Something powers your cell phone or your flashlight or your whatever you carry on your belt, your walkie-talkie, your GPS, your all that stuff. Or, just your go kit for heading out. You gotta have power, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you when you head out to go for an adventure there, Jim? What do you
Well, I
use as your backup power?
I was gonna say the primary power. I try to keep my cell phone charged up, and I have a flashlight usually in my everyday carry. But for backup power, I have an external USB battery pack that I carry. Mono price. It was fairly cheap. It'll charge my phone from dead to full in at least twice. So that's what I carry. It's in my bag.
How many milliamp hours is that one?
Great question. I should know that. I think it's about 6,000. I think.
Okay, that's a pretty
I think that's
pretty
about 6,000.
skookum.
6 or 8. I forget. And we're going to talk about some of these other things down the road I saw in the notes, but it'll do pretty much everything in my bag because almost everything, I try to make sure everything I carry has a USB input to charge it with. For the most, some doesn't, but for the most part. So
Nice. I found as I'm going out caching that using a couple of apps to keep up with adventures, mapping or navigation, geocaching can drain a phone battery pretty quickly.
It can.
Adventure Lab app is an absolute power pig.
Yeah. And sometimes, the 5-minute drive to the next ground zero where you park and, trailhead, whatever you get out is not enough to keep that phone battery charged up and going. It just doesn't have enough juice. So when you're out, I suggest that you turn off Bluetooth on your phone. That will help a little bit.
Okay.
Right. Yep. Now that could impact your navigation if you're connecting it to your car. But you want to keep Wi-Fi on. Now, in the past, I know I said turn off everything but your GPS radio. Leave Wi-Fi on. Wi-Fi actually helps your GPS on most phones to be more accurate
in an urban setting.
Even in a non-urban setting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think it did.
I've been complaining about my iPhone for ages, and I found that leaving Wi-Fi on, even when I'm out and about, works better.
So here's something I find, and maybe this is just the particular Samsung Android phone that I use. But if I have Wi-Fi on and I'm using mobile data, and I've got it doesn't happen to every single app, but most apps, including my geocaching apps, if I get somewhere urban or suburban or wherever where it picks up a Wi-Fi signal, it will insist that it's going to try and use that Wi-Fi signal, even if I can't connect to that Wi-Fi signal because I don't have any permissions on it. And it will stop trying to use the mobile data. And I'm sure this is probably a setting buried in the phone somewhere I still haven't found, even though I've spent ages trying to figure out where this setting is. And basically the app will stop working because it just can't get any electricity, or it's got electricity. It can't get any data. And so then what I have to do is basically just always have Wi-Fi off if I'm using mobile data.
I wonder if that's a setting to prefer Wi-Fi over.
Well, and so this is the thing, as I have that setting on so that when I'm on Wi-Fi, it will prefer the Wi-Fi over mobile data, because what I don't want to do is try and move a whole lot of stuff over over mobile data, which is what that setting is. But I don't know, maybe I've got some stuff messed up. Anyways, we'll figure out eventually. But that's why I personally don't leave Wi-Fi on. But maybe that's just me.
Interesting. And is your accuracy good enough that you're not worried about it?
Oh yeah, the accuracy is crazy good on my smartphone.
Yeah, mine not so good. Witsend can tell you. We'll be out caching. He goes, "Yeah, I found this one." Okay, don't tell me where it is, but is it on this side of the plaza or that one? Because I've got like 60 feet here that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
I
true.
find in an urban setting, the smartphone works quite well, better than the GPS. But as soon as I'm out of an urban setting, the GPSR works so much better.
Mm, okay. Carlos tossed in that turn down your screen brightness.
That's a huge tip. I have found that makes a huge difference in my battery life.
That's smart. I like that one. Good
Yeah.
tip.
Thank you, Carlos. Dora Moore says, I never remember to recharge the backup battery pack, but I do mostly use my GPSR and carry extra batteries.
Yeah, that is a good thing to remember, and it's hard to sometimes remember. And by the way, I pulled mine out of my bag. It is an 8,000 milliamp hour. And I saw another note here that if I probably can't go back and find it in time now. Oh, GSM Times 2 says I have the right cables.
Yes.
Oh,
To
yeah.
which I offer. Okay, here's a challenge for our listeners and the research department. This is what I carry in my backpack every day. With a rubber band, I have. Find which episode I said waggle your squid, because once upon a time we said waggle your squid, and this has been, as you noticed, there is a small black adapter on one tail because this was before I had a USB-C device, and so that will allow me to charge even a 30-pin device, which I never use anymore, and I've considered just cutting that off. But I've got a Lightning, a micro USB, a mini USB, and USB-C with the adapter, so I can charge everything I own with it. There's possible something out there somebody else needs, but that covers my needs while I'm on the go.
Very cool.
Well, in Wits End, you hit it. There are 3 major types of cables. That's Lightning for, I almost want to say older iPhones at this point. I think all iPhones still at this point.
Well, my older iPhone had a 30-pin, so.
Yeah, well, that's older. Yeah.
That's really old. Yeah.
Micro USB, which does almost everything, and USB-C for some of the newer phones. And again, newer is.
Yeah. And I have a mini USB on it too, but I don't remember the last time I used that.
My GPSR uses mini USB.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Wet Ghoster says, I tried putting a windmill on my backpack to provide power, but it kept hitting trees.
Oh, yeah.
Funny. Yep. There you go.
Which.
Yeah, Dora Moore had a response. Where is it?
Dora Moore says,
There it
yes,
is.
and likely kills all the birds too. Okay. Keats wants to know if phones actually had to drink juice, what would be their favorite juice?
There you go.
I don't
go
know.
for it. Live chat.
That's right. We'll get some fun there.
Right.
Oh.
So we talked about the basic phone connectors, waggle your squid.
Having that squid is a lifesaver. I have 1 or 2. So I get those at trade shows.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what are trade shows?
Yeah. In ye oldie days.
Let me tell you something, Sonny.
Yeah.
I used to go and see people and talk to them.
Yeah.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah. And you walk around, and I come around to that booth another time or 2,
Or 3.
pick up an extra 3, 4, pick up a couple extra of these power squids.
Yeah, I came home with 3 or 4 at one time.
That way I could put them in each car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's traveling with you. You're taking a friend out, and you're like, oh, hey, I need to charge. Oh, here, you choose.
Yeah.
What you need, right? So it's
and our chat's already coming back with some great responses. Yes. We've got Chosen says Powerade.
Oh, I like that one.
Apple juice for iOS. Juice. Nice one. Yeah.
One with electrolytes.
There you go. You guys are funny.
I didn't see the electrolyte. There it is.
Kunenbud.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yep. Electrolyte.
That's awesome, you guys.
So we talked about connectors. Now, in the car, there are, you can have multiple types of chargers, and you probably have multiple chargers in the car. Remember back in the day where you'd pack as many people as you can into the car? So it might be nice to have, chargers up front, chargers in the back. And
I've got a device that plugs into the cigarette lighter, and then it has 4 powered USB outlets
Yeah.
like a hub, I guess, but it's just for power. It's not for data sharing. That's super handy when we've got a, again, back in the oldie days when we would have
Yeah,
other
in the
people
before
living.
times.
Well, you can charge a phone, you can run a GPSR, you can do other things.
Exactly.
Now, fast chargers work the best, but are phone dependent, right? So likely what works for your Android is not going to charge my iPhone as fast. It will
Right.
charge it, but just not optimally. So find out what works with your phone and buy a charger that works, the best for it. As Wits End said, I'm a huge fan of USB batteries, separate ones that you can carry with you. I have that same battery and I love it. I bought a 6,000 milliamp hour battery that is a little smaller than my phone. It's about the width of my phone, but it's just a little bit smaller. And it'll charge my phone, 1.5 times. It's not great, but it's really easy to hold.
Yeah.
And then I have a big 25,000 milliamp hour battery. I call my weekend battery.
Yeah.
So if I go camping over the weekend, I take this, I can charge my phone, I can charge an iPad, I can, charge my son's phone when we go, and it works great.
Yeah. I've got a large one that has the fast charging port on it as well. And I can charge my phone multiple times off of it, or, the tablet, or, any other USB powered device. What I actually use it for as well is, I've got, a few different pieces of video equipment that I will sometimes take on a hike. And so I can top those off as well, which is super handy.
Yeah. Yeah, my little, speaking of monoprice, the little monoprice headlamp I've got charges off
Yep.
micro USB, so charge that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got a headlamp. I've got a super bright flashlight that's small that charges off of USB.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's a lot of things that are like that. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But if you're going to get a USB battery, do a little research and find out how big the battery is on your current phone, right? If it's a 2,500 milliamp hour battery, you got to get an external battery at least that big, if not 2 to 3 times that size, right?
Yeah.
Recharging your battery once is really nice. Being able to do it, again, can be very helpful.
Well, and on that note, just sometimes too wants to know, is it better to leave your phone connected to your USB power pack all the time, or do you let your phone discharge to 30% and then you attach the power pack and charge it up?
Good question. I tend to let mine discharge to about 20% and then top it off. But good question. What do you guys do?
It depends on where you are, right?
Yeah,
So
I was going to say it depends, but yeah.
If I'm out and about and, oh, hey, my phone will pop up, hey, low power warning. Yeah, let's pull out that battery pack and plug it in and get going. You can leave it on there all the time. Most new phones are smart enough not to overcharge themselves, right? They're only going to draw power until they're charged, and then they're going to cut off.
Yeah. But I have to say, this is my main phone. It's not a new phone. I've had it for about 3 years now. I have gotten in the habit with this phone, and first phone I've ever done it with, I only charge it to 80%. And I have found that the battery life on it has been much better than any phone I've ever had before. Okay, it's newer than most of the phones I had before, of course, but I think that made a big difference. I have an app that chimes when I hit 80% and I unplug it. And
That's cool.
Those batteries, from what I've read, batteries are much happier not being charged all the way to 100%.
Really?
So, and I'm sure that there's all kinds of rabbit trails we could go down with different battery chemistries and charging philosophies and charging technologies nowadays. But I think as a general rule, I think that's better. And likewise, I'm a believer. It's been my experience. Let me put it that way, that fast chargers, while they're great to get your phone charged up in a hurry, can also introduce a lot of heat to your phone, and that's not good for the phone or the battery. So
that's very true. If you get the fast charger designed for your phone, yeah, it's going to generate some heat, but
yeah,
it might be better. I don't know. I've never used a fast charger, but I tend to use at least a 2.5 amp charger. you can get a 1 amp charger, which, will charge your phone eventually.
Mhm.
2 amp is good. 2.5 amp, I find, is just a little better.
Chosen had an interesting comment there.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought about this one, and she says another thing to think about
Hmm.
in selecting your external battery pack is if you do a lot of travel on planes, there may be a limitation on the size of the battery pack you're allowed to bring on the flight. So
Mhm.
that's certainly something to be aware of and look into. And Brylang suggests that it may also be TSA rules that you'll have
Yeah.
to check. So
Well,
they-
yeah.
I remember traveling on planes.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Okay, since we're in the Wayback Machine, remember way back when it was a Samsung phone? Was it a Note 7?
Oh,
Note 8?
the exploding phones.
Yeah.
Yes, the exploding phones. That's when, I don't know if it was TSA or the airlines decided, you know what? Lithium-ion batteries are dangerous. We got to limit the size of one you bring on the plane. And that's the time they limited the size of rechargeable battery you can bring on a plane.
Right.
So that's where that stems from, and it's true.
That said, I've never had any issues in all the flights I've
Yeah.
ever been on with the battery packs I have. So I guess
Right.
none of mine have been large enough to be a concern. So I
So
guess
it's a possibility.
pretty large.
I'm going to toss in a good idea here from GSM times 2. He still uses a Nuvi, but when I connect it to my car, every time I turn off the car, it loses power and tries to turn off. I have it hooked to a power bank instead.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's
that
useful.
stays always on, which is great if you're, in and out geocaching, power
Right.
trail or something where it's just a short hop. You're going to turn off the car. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it takes a second for that Nuvi to power back up.
Yeah. If you're just commuting to work or grocery store, that, no big deal. Let it turn off. But like you say, if you're in and out caching, that's the problem.
I would be
Yeah.
curious how stuff like that works in an electric car, how the accessories work in an electric car,
Right? It all takes power.
right?
So
But
leaving
if
those
you're not-
accessories on, or even just running the lights or heater,
Yeah.
shortens your range in an electric car.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about how that would all work. But anyways,
But you've got this incredible battery pack to charge all your electric.
right?
Yeah.
There's that. But it's the same battery pack that's going to get you home. So
Oh yeah,
there's that.
it's not just a nice portable battery pack.
Yeah, it has other purposes.
Details. Yeah. And we could go down a whole other discussion about tying those back into the grid at home. People are doing that now too. But
Mhm.
while we're talking about phones, GPS stuff, you also have to consider radios. If you carry, any kind of walkie-talkies, FRS, ham radios, torches, there's all kinds of stuff out there that you can charge that. And like we mentioned, a lot of things charge with USB, but not everything does. My flashlight, I have 2 of them here, but this is one, doesn't charge over USB. Chris's does, but
I was
just have
shocked
to
when
make
I
sure.
saw that.
Yeah, I just have to make sure that I charge this up before I leave, and thankfully it lasts a long time.
Mhm.
This one does.
But our headlamps, those charge over USB.
That does,
Yeah.
yes.
I love
Mhm.
those headlamps. Man,
That's a great one.
one of my favorite products I ever bought from
A
Monoprice.
monoprice headlamp, typically $10.
Mhm.
They're probably on Black Friday sale at half price. If you can get one, go get one.
Yeah, and get 2 and give them as stocking stuffers. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah,
Um,
those are great.
Yeah.
So batteries, we're talking about batteries, and we've
Mhm.
been talking about external battery sources for recharging your phones and such. But of course, a lot of devices just take double A's. We still have lots of devices that
Sure.
do that. You can, there's rechargeable and non-rechargeable options. There's the lithium ion, nickel metal hydrate, etc. Chris, I think both of you guys know more about this stuff than I do. Which holds its power the longest out of the AA types of batteries?
Whichever one you don't have.
Which,
Yeah. The type you didn't buy at the
Yeah, the
store.
one they just came out with that supersedes what you own.
I find that for disposable batteries, meaning, a battery that is not rechargeable, that the lithiums are the best.
Okay.
as far as time using them.
Mhm.
Nickel metal hydrides are what I've experienced as far as rechargeable batteries. Those are the Eneloops or the Amazon Basics.
Yep.
And both of those are a very good battery to use for rechargeables. Make sure you get the proper recharging device for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Don't just say, oh, I have, something that I got years ago that should charge up any of these rechargeable batteries that I have.
And don't mix your batteries either when you're recharging them. And I don't just mean don't mix the types. Like don't mix a lithium ion with a. Well, you can't recharge a lithium ion, but it is. Or no, you can. It's
You
a nickel
can.
metal hydrates. You can't recharge.
No, those are rechargeable as well.
Those are okay. I get them. I get. See, this is the thing. This is why I'm asking because I get them mixed up in my head.
There are a lot, and I've listened to some electric energy, technology podcasts that I can't. I think I've got a good handle on it, and then I'm thinking that that's changed. Well, and they have this one's better for this application, this one for this application.
Right.
So it's that. Unfortunately, it's that big. Well, it depends, and you
Right.
really need to do some study.
The lithiums are the ones though generally that hold the power for like a ridiculous amount of time, but they're generally not rechargeable, right?
Right.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Rumor has it that the IKEA rechargeables are made in the Eneloop factory.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Good to know.
well, Eneloop have a very good.
The Eneloop Panasonic are fabulous. They do not discharge between uses.
They've got
Yeah,
a
and-
really good reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, so see, that's something that a lot of people don't think about as well. I charged it up and I'll throw it in my bag and it'll be good 6 months from now. Maybe not. Some batteries just self-discharge with time.
Yeah.
So
I've
You-
got a set of a number of Energizer nickel metal hydrides, and if I leave them for a month, they're all flat. And I got
yeah,
so I've got to basically, if I know I'm going to be going somewhere, I charge them up a day or two before I'm going,
yeah,
and then they're great. But
Right. They're going to last that day, maybe a week. Then
yeah,
after that.
but it's crazy, and it's weird, right? Because you're thinking, well, why are they not keeping a charge? I'm not doing it. They're not running on anything. They're in a plastic bag with their poles opposite each other.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason these should be discharging, but they do.
yeah. And speaking of that, you can actually pick up little plastic battery lockers, they call them,
Mhm.
that will make sure that they don't interact with keys or coins in your pocket, and that can be very bad.
Yeah. That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
If you're going to have these batteries and you rely on them, secure them, right? Have them in something that's going to keep them safe. Keith says, back when I flew radio controlled planes, there was a real risk of ballooning molten batteries if you didn't charge them properly. Yeah.
Wow.
And, my advice is also when you're done, if you're not going out for a week, pull the batteries out of your devices.
Yes, you should
there's-
always do that.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than, corroded battery in your device. And suddenly, you know what? Maybe that expensive GPS doesn't work as well anymore or at all.
Yeah, I find that a lot.
This is interesting from GSM times 2. Thank you guys. You guys are great tonight.
Yeah.
You're hitting far more topics than we have in our show notes. GSM times 2 says most rechargeables discharge at 2% per day.
Wow. There you go. Well, that explains the mystery there. Well, I mean, that explains the rate. I still kind of wonder about the science of why it happens, but
it's chemistry.
So yeah, it's something else to look into.
For just 2% a day.
Well, but this is the thing, right? I mean, physics says, the laws of physics say that 2% is changing into some other type of energy. So it's either heat or light or mechanical energy or something, right? Like it's turning into some other type of energy.
Yeah. Well,
But anyways,
well, you hit some, Chris, or?
I didn't. My advice is whatever type of battery you decide on, try to get all your gear to work with that.
Yeah.
So if you're carrying a flashlight that requires 3 AAA batteries and your GPS is 2 AA batteries, you're going to have to carry twice as many, or maybe 3 times in this case.
it seems like a pain in the butt. Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt. And, it's like, oh, wait, I've got to make sure I have this. And go find a flashlight that works on AA's.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Have a single gear, a single battery standard that you work from, and you will find the gear that works with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm a huge fan of that. I had everything double A's for a long time. A little while ago, a few years ago, I picked up a flashlight that is still my everyday carry, talking about
Mhm.
different battery sizes. And this one, it uses a battery called an 18650, which I'd never heard of until I bought this. But it's really easy to figure out what size it is because from what I understand, it's 18 millimeters wide. And this look is semi-transparent in the podcast.
It's
18
almost
millimeters wide, 65 millimeters long, and O indicates it's a cylindrical rather than a flat pack like your cell phone or those kind of things. So it puts out 3.7 volts. It's a 2600 milliamp hour, this particular one. But
Which is
one
a lot of
theory,
power.
it's a lot of power and it lasts a long time. I do have to make sure that I charge it. And Chris has one. These is the same battery that will USB charge. Mine does not. I have another one here that's slightly thicker. I don't carry this one every day, but I keep it around. And it also uses an 18650. But here's something interesting. If you buy 18650 batteries in bulk, so this is non-name brand, you just have some generic writing on there. Take a look at these two batteries side by side. These are both 18650 batteries. I'll stack them together at the bottom. And you notice they're not the same height.
Oh,
Huh.
weird.
Because in the top here, there is some charging control circuitry to prevent it from overcharging and control the amount of voltage coming in, that kind of thing. And my theory is that can contribute to the voltage trickle leak over time that we were talking about.
If there's
So-
circuitry in there, sure, it's got to be
Exactly, yeah.
powered somehow, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
So-
Okay. Yeah, I've got a flashlight that uses the 18650 as well, and that's I had never, again, same thing until I bought that flashlight and was learned about it, and I was like, well, that's weird. And it charges from USB, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crazy powerful battery.
They last a long time. I don't have a USB charger on mine. I don't even really have necessarily a spare battery, but I used to carry two flashlights that each have their own 18650 batteries. So because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And
Yeah.
typically one of them is gonna survive. So, and they have such neat features. I mean, this one has, if you press and hold it, it's got a very, very dim map light feature. So if you're out in the trail at night, you don't blind yourself with it. But then it has multiple other brightness settings that if I turn it on full bright, then I
Whoa.
just I just kind of disappear. So
And he just destroyed his camera.
yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Right.
there are 18650s, there are 14500s, which are roughly the size of a double A. Again, 14 millimeter by 15 millimeter ballpark. I looked it up just to be sure. It's 13.5 millimeters by 49.2 millimeters, but ballpark 14 by 50. O being cylindrical or 0 being cylindrical battery.
I never realized what the numbers meant, that those are actually the dimensions of the battery.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Same with double A. Wait,
What?
where did apparently there
I
had
think
to
you're
be
talking.
A
I think you're
batteries.
talking about something completely different for the after show. Yeah.
Apparently there had to be A batteries at one time because we have C's and D's. I don't
That's
know
right.
what happened to B's.
No.
I don't know what happened to A's, but we have double A's and triple A's.
it is an interesting story, and I looked it up and read it one time, but I can't recall it right now. So
There you go. All right. Well,
I mean, since Wits End carries that flashlight with him every day, it's okay that it's a different battery type, right? I mean, as long as you're taking care of it every day. If it's something you leave in your pack,
yeah, I use it at work all the time.
yeah. Well, there you go then, right? It's part of your everyday carry for sure. There's other things that for power purposes that you can pack around depending upon what kind of adventures you're going on, etc. Like jumper kits. They've got lithium ion based. Sorry, is it lithium? No, it's nickel metal hydride based now, I think.
I think there are
car
multiple
jumpers where you can recharge them, and they're very very small. They used to be lead acid batteries, right? They used to be like this huge lunch kit you'd put in the back of your car with jumper cables on it. Now they're very small. We've this last summer, anyways. I guess I can't remember when it was, a while ago, when we went and we were up on a mountain with some friends, and a friend's car had died, and one of the other people who happened to be up there had one of these boosters. And they were able to get the battery going again. So, these things are fantastic. And
Yeah.
many of them have USB ports on them for charging
Yeah,
devices.
we have one in a vehicle at work, and it has USB ports. It has a flashlight on it. This one actually even has a little air compressor to blow up your tires, and a battery
That's
port.
handy.
It's kind of a jack of all. It makes it a little bigger and heavier, but it's one device that you could keep in your trunk or in your truck, and hopefully, if your battery's charged, you can do almost anything you need with it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I keep
I thought-
telling myself when I see those on sale, I should grab one,
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
but I haven't yet.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've got it on my Christmas wish list.
So, maybe we'll get some information tonight about which one I should get. And
There you
with
go.
that, as soon as I said that, Brightling says, I'm tempted to get the Jackery power station for geocache road trips. Oh, sorry. Hashtag geocache road trip. Capacity up to 1,000 watt hours, but pricey.
Whoa.
Many van life peeps are using them to run fridges and charge from solar.
okay, yeah,
So think about that for a second. 1,000 watt hours. So not 1,000 milliwatt hours, which is what we're used to. The rating we're
Milliamp hours,
used to is milliwatt hours. This is watt hours. That is a huge number. That is a crazy amount of power.
Up in case you want to know, IHAM says B batteries were used in vacuum tube equipment.
there you go.
Well, there you go. Indeed. Yeah.
Okay, so Starcasher says tomorrow I'll buy my annual supply of AAA and AA batteries at Menards. 30-pack alkaline for $2.99. I buy 2 each. I use these for my flashlights, remotes, etc. And for my GPSRs, I use the NIM rechargeables.
Cool.
There you go.
There you go.
It's hard to say no to that.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to get to a Menards here in the Northwest, though.
Well, that's true. That I know of them in Ohio, but
I'm just looking at their map, and the closest one is in the middle of Wyoming.
So it's like a Midwest Canadian Tire. Is that what it is?
yeah, Menards is like a Home Depot.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
All right.
but for $2.99, it's worth the trip.
No kidding.
Very cool.
I know Harbor Freight has large boxes of batteries you can buy at incredibly low prices, and I just assume they're not that good because of the price.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Costco has, I don't know, 96 batteries in a box of you can get Costco or you can get Duracell. And from the rumors I've heard, the Kirkland batteries are Duracell. They're just not labeled.
Well, that's interesting. There you go. Cool.
Let's see. Now, we've talked about all this. Is there anything you guys would like to try as far as batteries goes that you haven't done yet? If you were thinking, oh, if I had to go and restart today, I would buy this.
Keats mentioned something way up early in the podcast, and I don't know if we can grab it and pull it up, but he mentioned a device that I've seen advertised and I've been curious about it. And it's a small turbine generator that you drop into running water.
Yes.
And it spins up and has like a USB cable that comes out of it that you can charge things off of. So to me, that seems pretty cool. There's also what's that other brand?
The one with the campfire one?
Yeah.
I don't remember either, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like a little stove.
Yeah.
You burn sticks in it and it has a turbine on it and creates electricity. So a couple of those items, I think I would love to try. It would be really interesting to see how well those actually work. So, I'm very willing to be sponsored by either of those companies. And I'll, a BioLite. Thank you, Brian. Just got that. That's the BioLite is the wood burning one.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to be sponsored by either of those companies and test out your products and give them some reviews.
Yeah. Wits End, what about you?
I have toyed with looking at building battery banks at home, kind of the homebrew Tesla Powerwalls that, oddly enough, are built out of huge banks of 18650s.
Really?
Some of the YouTube guys I've seen online, apparently you can buy very, very cheaply dead laptop battery packs, break them apart, and there's about 650s in there, and typically only one or two are bad. And you compile this big list and sort them out and get charging equipment that can diagnose them and decide, oh, well, this one's good for 1800 milliamp hours. That one's good for 2200. This one's garbage. And then you build yourself these multi battery packs. It's fascinating, and building power banks for your home that can supplement power, basically make a really big UPS, turn it into a house-wide UPS, which I have seen people taking their electric vehicles now and plugging them back into their homes and acting like a GPS, like a UPS. Like if your power went out, you could power your home off your car with the proper inverters and safe switching equipment. Even in other countries, the one podcast I listen to, Fully Charged podcast, is if you're interested. He's in Britain, and they have power there that's costs different times a day. And I know some places in the US do too. Here, I don't think that's true. It's our power is a uniform price, but you could even
at night, but
you could even charge your vehicle in the cheaper power at night and let it plug back into the grid and sell it back to the utility at a higher rate. It's a whole long complicated thing, but that whole idea fascinates me. I have wanted an electric vehicle since like I was in middle school. I remember reading Mechanics Illustrated and Build Your Own Urban Trimuter and stuff. But of course, then it was big, heavy lead acid batteries and not very efficient and very much DIY. And I would very much like to move into an electric vehicle here. It'd be fun.
I agree with you. There's a company called Goal Zero that produces some really nice equipment. I would love to try it. I would, they have a Yeti power station. They've got multiple sizes now, but I mean, it's got a standard Edison plug, a home plug. It's got a car plug, and it's got USB ports, and it can all be charged off of solar or the wall. Like, that's something I really would want to get into.
So it sounds like another sponsorship opportunity for Goal Zero.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Really, if they really, if they're paying attention, they jump on it. They can, there
Without a doubt. Yeah,
I'm ready.
Solar intrigues me. We seriously looked into solar at the house.
Yeah.
In the Northwest, it's not great, but it's okay. It'll work.
Yeah.
I thought, well, there's a lot of solar for phone charging. I thought, how effective is this? I mean, you've got to put it in a window, right? If you're at a home or office.
Right.
And throughout the day, it's going to charge better in that window than that one. And you would have to move it. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. So I'm not sure about solar as far as the convenience factor of it for charging small electronics. Big, putting it on a house and using that to supplement electricity. I'm all for that.
Well, the good news is they're getting more efficient all the time. And battery and solar and all these technologies are just advancing by leaps and bounds today. And it's really exciting to see where they're going to go.
Very cool. Well, go ahead.
GSM times 2 says Goal Zero stuff looks great. Really well made. I don't own any, but I saw it at Comdex.
Ah, cool.
Well, Keats 94 owns one. Yeah.
A Goal Zero solar panel. Great product.
Yeah. A lot of the ham radio podcast stuff I listen to, they talk about these things too.
Gold Zero really wants to get their head in the game. They're going to get Land Monkey as a sponsor.
There you go.
Gladly.
Just remember us little people when you hit the big time, Land Monkey.
That's right.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like we get out and we can really be able to put some of this stuff through its paces, right? I'd love to be able to do that. See how it performs out in the field. But anyways, appreciate the support, Keats. But if we wanted to get our hands on some of this stuff, other than begging for corporate sponsorships, if we wanted
another way,
theoretically, the way that normal people get things. I mean, we talked about tomorrow's Black Friday, so sales start, so it's a time to be looking. We've had a few people in the chat talking about some different stores. Are there places you guys normally would watch to buy either like a power, USB power pack or other devices?
I haven't shopped lately. I need to look at it again.
For USB power packs, without hesitation, I would go to monoprice.com.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have their pack. Their stuff is well made. It's inexpensive, but it's well made. Also for cables, if you're looking for power cables or charging cables for your gear, monoprice.com is the place to go. Now, Amazon, that's a huge name in the industry there.
Mhm.
And the Amazon Basics line is very good and it's affordable.
There you go. Some pro tips for shopping. And GSM times 2 noted that Goal Zero has 20% off for Black Friday. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Wise to spend some time searching the online ads tomorrow.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, and get ready for Cyber Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And Iham said he used to go to Fry's.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to come up in the feed here. I'll read it anyways. He said, I used to go to Fry's, but they're in a tiff with their suppliers and basically have nothing in stock at the moment. So, and Fry's is a big electronics retailer in the States.
It's an unfortunate name for an electronics store.
Yeah. No, honest, it works.
Yeah. Fry's has been, it's weird. It's very bipolar experiences there. I've gone there and this is great. They have all kind of stuff. And I've gone there and I've walked through and went, there's just a bunch of junk here. I don't need anything here. It's very strange. Maybe it's just me.
Maybe it's like Costco where they just get certain things in bulk and then that's what they've got.
If you know what you're looking for, I think you can find it at
True.
Fry's.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to find.
If you're just browsing, there's a lot of fluff.
There you go. All right. Well, some pro tips for everybody. Lots of great information in this episode.
Sometimes too I'm not sure where he's going with this. He says it used to be great, now it's junk. So, I'm not sure his actual.
Yeah, it's kind of a subtle.
It feels like he's got something on his mind there.
Yeah,
maybe. He'll communicate it eventually.
Awesome. Well, anyways, it was. We've gone through this. We've had lots of great information for you listeners. Hopefully, you've been able to learn a few new things, not only from us, but from our amazing live chat and all the great information you guys have been contributing to the podcast. So, thank you to each and every one of you people who's been watching live and contributing all the information real time as we go forward, which is fantastic.
It is fantastic. And folks, thanks for listening. We've got, of course, the after show. You need to stick around for that. But we've also got some other great shows coming up. We're still working on a schedule, but we've got shows planned out through the end of the year. You'll want to stick around because 2021 can only be better.
And we've had some pretty awesome shows recently. So we're setting the bar pretty high there, Chris. Awesome. Well, this is also the point in time where I want to take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember, they ship those online orders daily. And their Black Friday sale is on between now and Monday, as we said earlier. So go on over, check out landsharkswiththez.ca and do a little Christmas shopping there. And we also want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Landsharks, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly. And if you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com, a website.
Just like Logwork did.
And Kennel Barb.
And I'm not paying attention to the show notes. And Alarobrick.
And Trexer Zero.
Team Noltex.
And well, I really got to pay attention here. All right. And Fairwood West.
Subway Mark.
Camp Clan.
Rotor.
Just finding our way.
Boomer 365.
Kid Vegas 19.
Billy Robson.
MC3 Cats.
Are you sure you caught up with the show notes? I couldn't hear what you said.
I said it really quiet.
Kev Mackey.
Seebeck Tribe.
Hacker Doc.
Genies.
LG 9000.
M-Nerve.
Geo Nav Pros.
Dora Moore.
Donners.
Broncos fan for life.
You Talks to Rocks.
Winos Seattle.
CRS 98.
B Pendragon.
Sege Hope.
Limex.
GSM times 2.
The Geo Travelers.
Wet Coaster.
And Green Words.
Antaeus.
Tick Magnet.
Keats 94.
On a boat.
And of course, T. Sayer.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you joining us tonight. Thank you, all of you listening at some point in the future. And thank you, my friendly two co-hosts. I love hanging out on Thursdays with you.
You're welcome. I love hanging out with you too, buddy.
For all of you listeners, he's Chris of the Northwest. He's Land Monkey.
Hello.
Or Land Monkey GC, depending on where you find him. I'm Wits End, and you can find us all on social media or on cachingNW.com/hosts. All kinds of great links there.
Nice. Hey, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. Call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or let us borrow your electricity any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Yeah, there's more. Give us a thumbs up or a very coveted review. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2020 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
He said it just like that.
The After Show.
Oh, there was a delay on that one.
Yeah.
Was it something like this? Hey.
No,
nothing like that at all.
Hey, it didn't work. There we go.
There it is.
That took a little while. All right. That was fun.
Oh, GSM times 2 thought the show was about power trails. How disappointing.
Sorry. Maybe a future episode.
Okay.
This was way more interesting.
IHAM says you can borrow the electricity only if you pay it back.
Yeah, that's right. Or return it later. Yeah, exactly. Carlos had a hashtag FATAS, and he's asked if anyone has heard of the collaboration of efforts for Adventure Labs. I have heard of some people who are collaborating on trying to dovetail Adventure Labs so that you kind of, you do one, you complete one, but then you pick up on the, sort of walking the same loop or path or whatever. And yeah, so I've seen that done.
I've seen one where they did a 15-stop Adventure Lab.
Wow.
Really, it's 3 Adventure Labs. So people have coordinated there.
Right.
But it takes 15 stops to tell the entire story, and it's worth it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, isn't that also similar to what JD and Lisa did with Spokash?
I think
they had like 3 or 4 Adventure Labs all kind of combined.
They had several Adventure Labs combined. So other geocaching, I want to say users, that's not right. Other geocachers, other cache owners, either set up the Adventure Lab or let JD and Lisa set it up so that it would fall under the Spokash window. And so yeah, there are people who work together to produce either larger experiences, multiple Adventure Labs, or for a bigger goal like Spokash.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and all those things they make sense. They're good ideas. That's cool. And I saw something going on in the chat between Brylang and Carlos and GSM times 2 about the Lincoln Highway. Yeah, Lincoln Highway Adventure Lab cache. UDEC said that Lincoln Highway Adventure Lab cache that stretches across the USA. That's crazy.
Wow, it's a collaboration between a whole pile of cachers. Apparently, to Bryling, a pile is about 60 some odd geocachers.
Wow, that's amazing.
Some 60 odd geocachers coordinated their efforts. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about that. Cool. Not that I'll be able to travel down and do that anytime soon, but
60
someday.
Equals a whole pile.
Okay.
A metric pile is 60. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That would be 100. Everything's in tens. You can't just decide metric is based on 60s.
Oh yeah, watch me.
That is far too.
Come up here and do something about it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
A yay is 32 inches, by the way.
If it's yay long.
years ago while we were standing there talking something, and somebody goes, "That's about yay long," and he held his hands up, and I had a tape measure. No, wait, and I measured. It was 32 inches. So
There
we
you go.
decided from that point forward that yay is 32 inches.
Perfect. That's funny.
So that's about half a pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
See, this is where you get into Imperial, where things don't line up like that. They all line nicely in metric.
Exactly. That's
let's see. Keats asked, and this wasn't too long ago, so let's see if I can find it now. Hold.
Please hold. Your question is important to us.
That's right.
Keats wants to know, how's everybody liking the new DT grid feature on the website? I wonder if they'll add more challenge cache friendly tools. So, first of all, do we all know that there's a new DT grid feature on the website?
Some of us do, but for any of our listeners who maybe don't, why don't you explain what it is?
It's a DT grid feature that you can find on the website.
Well, thank you very much.
If you log into geocaching.com on a computer, which not everyone does. So I just had to specify that if you actually go to the website, and I want to say it's in your stats. I don't know where it is.
I haven't looked at it because I haven't been to the website.
So here I am logged in,
Right.
and let's look at my stats.
So if you go, I don't think you even have to look at. Oh yeah, you do. It's in your stats. You got to
Okay,
scroll down
yes.
your stats.
So if you scroll down to difficulty and terrain caches I found, it does show the DT grid.
Yep.
By the way, the DT grid is your difficult terrain grid. It ranges from 1 to 5 at 0.5 increments.
Right. But that's not what's new. Like the grid's been there for ages.
Right. I know. I'm just describing the grid since we're talking about it.
But
and right below that grid is a button that says fill in your grid. And this will go out and look at caches that you need. So I need a difficulty 1, terrain 5 cache.
Which is very cool. And so then it helps you map out where that is. And and for those who like to do multiple loops on their difficulty and terrain grids, the button will actually say fill in your grid again, which is kind of cool. So once you've got your first loop done, and then it'll put over on the right hand side a little souvenir, digital souvenir, and say, nice work, you filled in your grid, X number of times, however many loops you've done. So, and then it'll tell you, which caches you need to find in order to get to your next loop. And if you're rock chalk, it says, please stop.
Yeah. So
I can believe that.
The button that says fill in your grid just doesn't fill it in for you and it's done.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could. Sure. Why not?
I've got an offline HTML editor that might do that.
There you go. It's always a probability. But yeah, it's a cool tool.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to fill that in.
Oh, funny. All right. So so that was cool. Thanks for sharing that.
I got to fill in 16 squares.
That's doable. There's something. There's
a goal next year.
All right. Brian Lang is asking how the Name the Baby contest is going. Where are we at with that?
I'm still waiting for final approval from the baby owners.
Okay.
The BO in this case. Yeah.
Okay.
Is the BO the right term? It's like a CO is a cache owner.
The baby owner.
Brian Lang saying BO is probably not the right term there.
There you go. So we're waiting on Wino Seattle to get back to us with the final list that we'll be able to put up.
Exactly. And then we'll vote on that.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned, folks. It'll come soon.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you saw that too.
Wet Coaster says, according to Project GC, the top looper is TT02 or TT02 with 320.98 loops.
Well, there you go. So that's the person who gets the button that says, please stop now.
So we're just going to say 321 loops because, why not?
No, we're not. They need to get that last 2%. I'm not giving them the extra one.
Probably already got it by now. It just hasn't been updated yet.
I don't know.
Holy cow.
That's crazy, though. That is insane.
Wow. Starcasher says, I was in an event this morning, and Starcasher, we all hate you now.
Yeah.
The fact that you were in an event at an event this morning.
Oh,
Other than that, we love you. And one of the attendees was heading to one of my caches for a DT filler of terrain 4.5 difficulty 1.
Nice.
Where is that? 'Cause I need to go there and get that.
Click it on your grid there and it'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was just looking at that.
I clicked fill in my grid and there's still 16 zeros on it. So
yeah, but if you hover over the grid, the individual number that you need, you click on it, it'll give you a list of caches. I was just looking at that.
I had no idea.
There you go. I
You're
learned you
exactly
something
right.
tonight.
All right. Well,
You can click on the individual number or the individual spot in the grid.
Mhm.
I learned new. Okay, Bryling, stop it.
just getting a hint there, I think. Yeah.
Keats says TT02 needs an intervention.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Did we cover all the
That was all the
after show?
fast I saw.
That was all the after show.
Yeah.
So folks, thank you so much for listening, and a big thank you for making caching in the Northwest part of your Thanksgiving Day routine, part of your Thursday night routine.
Indeed.
Thank you.
And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.